Okay, so this is the continuation of the PHP user registration tutorial which I had made before. We had made this username and password field and to check whether the username has been previously registered or not. So yeah, I guess it's taking a little time. Okay, so yeah, that's what we had made before. In this tutorial I'm going to make the PHP user login system in which your usernames can log into your website, and yeah, that's how and that is a database from the previous tutorial and the usernames which has been registered before. Okay, anyways, I'll just make this page as the registration page, and okay, that's the index page would be the registration page. And before a few things, okay, that is the register page. Okay, and we'll make a new login page, and it'll have the same coding, only a few things will change here. That will become, the title will become login, and yeah, I'll just apply bold to it, and that'll be a login. And the form action page would change to login.php, or we can just make the login be log.php, because I want to name this page as login.php. And yeah, I'll just save the file as login.php. Yeah, that's it. And let's just login.php. okay, that's login, and yeah, that's about it. And I will create a new page which is PHP page. We'll save it as logged.php. It's a PHP type 5. Okay, so when the user logs in by typing the username and the password and presses the submit button, we want the username and password to be checked with the database whether the user has been registered before or not. So let's just see that the button has been pressed before. We don't want our users to just jump on this page without putting the username and password, so that will be my button. Okay, my button is as same as my button. Okay, so if the user presses the button, then this will happen, and else we want the user to head back to the login page as login.php. If someone types in log.php on the address line, we don't want them to land up on this page without typing the username and password. So if that happens, this script will redirect them to the login.php. okay, so if they press the button after typing in the username and password, then we would want to fetch our username. I'll just copy the lines from the previous register.php. You can take these lines if you have, you must be having these lines if you've watched my user registration tutorial. So let's just paste that here. Everything's same, and yeah, the MD5 is also same, because when the user types in his password, for example, if the password is 12345, during the registration process, our script MD5s the password and stores it as an encrypted password here. So we want the user not to type in the encrypted password, because it's impossible to remember that as a password. So when the user types in the same password as 12345, we want the computer, we want our script to MD5 it again and verify whether the password entered by him is equal to the password entered by him during the registration process. So to check that, okay, we have fetched the password and username. Now we have to check whether the username exists or not. So to check that, we will pass a query. Before passing the query, we need to include the file to connect a file to the database. Okay, that's the db.php file which we had made before. You know, you will have this file if you've followed my registration tutorial, so it's important you go through that before. Okay, and okay, that's the same. Okay, now let's check whether the username is previously registered with our website or not. To do that, we'll pass a query to check user is equal to MySQL query. Select everything from the table name. Table name is users. Select everything from users, where the username is equal to, in single quotes, the fetched username. And in this line, so we are checking that the username exists and the password is equal to the password which has been entered by the user during the registration process. So we can check, we are checking both the things in one line. Okay, so okay, now to check whether this line exists, that means if there is a field, if there is a record in our database which is equal to, where the username is equal to the given username. To check that, in previous tutorial I had shown you to check it through MySQL_num_rows, and that is check user. So this line, what it does is it checks the number of rows where this condition is true. And what is this condition? It is this line, and the condition is it selects everything from the users table where username is equal to the given username and password is equal to the given password. So it returns a numerical value that is either a 0, either 1, either 2, number of fields where this condition is equal. This condition applies. So if this condition applies in 2 records, it shows 2. If it's equal to 3, and so on. But you know, as we know, we don't have 2 users with the same username, so we just want to check whether there exists even 1 record. If they exist, then we have to let them log in. We have to, you know, let the user log in to the page. So if num is equal to 1, that means if there is a record, then do this. Else, if there isn't any record, that means the user did not register, then we want to echo out, please register, or you know, use something like, you know, just to indicate the user that, you know, we did not find any such user, please register to login. And you know, you can give a link by anchoring a tag, something like that, to the registration page. It's up to you. So okay, that's it. And if there is a user with that name, we have to let them log in. That is, and you know, we have to either echo out, or you know, whatever you want to do. That means that the user that has been registered with the website before, so we have to let them log in. You can do here anything that is, you know, I'll just write in, you know, just okay, you are logged in. You can just you know, either just direct them to their profile page or their home page, wherever you want them to redirect. After, if you're using profiles in your website, you can also start a session here with corresponding to their ID, and the ID would be the ID of the user from the database. And the profiles method can be seen in my other tutorial, that is PHP user profiles. You can see how we do that. So for now we'll just write user logged in, and we'll just see if it works out. Okay, just refresh this page. What if we type in something which has not been registered before? Password something else. Okay, we have two usernames registered with us, that is test2 and test, but I'm typing test3, which is not registered. So when we submit, it will show we did not find any such user, please register to log in. Okay, when we go back, refresh the page, if we type in something which a username which has been registered, and if we type in the wrong password, or let me type in the correct password, you are logged in. Okay, now what if the user types in the correct username but the wrong password? It shows something else. So to notify the user that the username is correct but his password is wrong, we have to subdivide these coding and these lines into one more query, where you have to remove this line. I'll just do that for you. This where username is this. Okay, and if num is 1, that means if there is a user existing, then we have to check whether the password is equal to the password registered with us. So again, let's pass a query, check password is equal to my SQL query. Select everything from users where the username is this, because we don't want the password, there may be chances of two users having the same passwords in different parts of the world. So we just want to have a reference with the username and password. It's case sensitive, so password is equal to the password. Okay, let's just let me see that. Okay, so I've just noticed that you don't need this line here. You can do one thing is check password, and okay, that you would want to remove that line. Instead of that, we need to fetch out the password of the user where the username is the given username. We need to do that by this method. I hope you're good in PHP, so you'll understand this part. Okay, so now we have to fetch in the database password. So db password, this variable is the database password which is stored with us in our database. We are just checking that the username which is entered by the username has the password, same password which is stored with us. So let's just verify that. If the given password, the typed in password by the user is equal to the database password, then do that, else you just have to echo in you have entered the wrong password. Or else if the password is right, you can log them in. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Let's just give it a try again. If the username is right but the password is wrong, you have entered the wrong password. Okay, what if the username is wrong and the password is something, you know, which is stored of the other username, that is 12345. Okay, so when there isn't any user, so it doesn't go on the password checking script, so it just indicates that there is no such user. So let's just type in all the correct things. Registered user is test and password 12345. Submit, and yes, you are logged in. That's how basically the login script works in PHP. You might want to add sessions in your login system. You can see that in my PHP user profiles. You can just go to my channel and see the video there. It'll be the next step for after this tutorial, so you'll have a good idea of what you're doing. I hope this helped you a lot. You can always send me any questions, any doubts on my channel. You can contact me through my channel. I'll help you out. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.